this short video, I want to give you some points that would make a great sermon for you to preach on this Christmas. If you're looking for a Christmas sermon or looking for ideas for a Christmas sermon, you might want to consider preaching on the stepfather of Jesus, Joseph. Our text is from Matthew 1, verses 18 through 21. And the text is very clear. You can read the text. It has these 5 major characteristics of Joseph as to why God chose Joseph to be the husband to the mother of Jesus Christ, to be the stepfather of Jesus. And so the first reason was that Joseph was a just man. The word just means righteous. He was faithful to the law. He believed in the law. He loved the law. Now he's got a dilemma on his hand because he loves Mary, but it looks like Mary has been found to be with sin. Consequently, according to the law, he's not even supposed to marry her. But he's a just man, so what's he going to do? He has the right to publicly humiliate her, publicly shame her, publicly divorce her, and even have her stoned. But Joseph also loves her. He's a loving man. He's faithful to the law, the text says, and yet did not want to expose her to public disgrace. And so he had in mind to divorce her quietly. Joseph loved Mary. And in the backdrop here, you can see the whole drama of salvation. God loves humankind, but humankind is found to be with sin. And God is a just God. So how does God overcome this dilemma of loving us and yet not being able to have fellowship with us because we're in sin? You see all that right here in the relationship between Joseph and Mary. He's a just man, and he's a loving man, and he's an obedient man. Angels came to speak to Mary, but Joseph woke up from a dream where the Lord commanded him to take Mary back to his home as his wife. And so he did. Now don't get the idea that God was just speaking to anybody and everybody those days. That's not the way that worked. In fact, God's voice hadn't been heard in Israel for almost 400 years. But Joseph was listening. And so the third characteristic of a man of God is that he listens to God and is obedient to what God is telling him to do. God told Joseph, take Mary as your wife. And Joseph did. But Joseph was also a humble man. You find Mary being published 7 times in the Bible. And yet not one word is recorded of what Joseph ever spoke. And yet Joseph was there supporting Mary, loving Mary, caring for Mary. Mary carried Christmas. Joseph carried Mary. Mary got the starring role of Christmas. Joseph got shovel duty. Mary was the lead singer in the drama of Christmas. Joseph sang in the background, way in the background. Yet he was willing. He was an obedient man. He was a humble man, and he believed the best about his wife, Mary. When you put all 5 of these characteristics together, you've got the characteristics of a man that God is looking for. A righteous man. A man who loves the law of Christ. A loving man. A man who is willing and wanting the best for others. You have an obedient man. A man who listens to God and obeys God's voice. You have a humble man, a man who does not have to have the starring role, and a man who believes the best about his wife and all those around him. And thus you have the stepfather of Christmas.